Hello, I'm Anika Bangar from grade 11.
And I'm Ishanvi Goel from grade 11.
We welcome you to an exciting episode of Dialogue Den, CNS Mumbai's very own student led podcast.
Today's episode is going to be a rather special one where we will be discussing film, theatre, and how unique storytelling meets the truth.
We will be diving into the world of theatre with someone who has not only witnessed its evolution but has shaped it with his remarkable depth and vision.
Today, we are honored to welcome Mr. Feroz Abbas Khan, who has pioneered Indian film and theatre. Sir has introduced unique storytelling to theatre and distinct theatrical sensibilities to the realm of cinema.
He was also the first artistic director at Mumbai's iconic Prithvi Theatre, where he nurtured a new generation of artists.
Sir has had many big named productions under his name, including Tumhari Amrita, Salesman Ramlal, and of course the one that is rolling right now, Hind 1957, which was an adaptation of Fences. Sir usually brings a unique depth and vision to his works.
At the very same time, the groundbreaking stage musical of Mughal-e-Azam is India's first grand Broadway-style production, which is an adaptation of the classic film itself. It is lauded for its grand scale, technical brilliance, and its ability to bridge cinematic history with live performance.
Whether on stage or screen, Sir has always brought authenticity, realism, and cultural introspection. Dear listeners, welcome to CNS Dialogue Den. And Sir, we welcome you. It's our pleasure to have you as our guest today.
We deeply appreciate you joining us for today's episode, where the conversation will lead to a variety of topics ranging from your vibrant journey as a theatre and filmmaker and also the importance of art in education. And our first question to you is, what is your earliest memory of theatre as a child?
Well, first, let me tell you that I have a very close connection in many ways to your institution
Yes.
because it's named after Chatrabhuj Narsee.
Yes.
And I have met him. I've known him because I'm a student from Narsee College.
Yes.
So there is a whole association.
Yeah.
So many a times on many occasions, I had to meet him, particularly on a college day function. So I have a kind of a bit of an emotional connection with your institution. My very early association in theatre was very interesting. I was cast in a play in a Marathi language.
Okay.
In school. I was in, I think, fifth
Okay.
standard or something like that. I didn't know the language at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing. But I understood the dramatic part of it. So I was supposed to be a judge or something like that. And I did it very well. And I won a prize for that. And that's a time that I think I realized is that there's a dramatic instinct, which in many ways can even transcend language. So if I didn't understand much about what I was saying, but I was in fifth standard at that time.
Yeah.
So that was my first relationship with theatre, and I found it a very fascinating place. And as any kid at that age and you have here, is one of the things is that when you are appreciated for your work
Yeah.
with your friends particularly, and your family and everybody, so you feel very good about it. So that's how my first memory and my first beginning in theatre
Okay.
was. Yeah.
So, did this distinct and beautiful memory of the grade fifth and the dramatic sensibility that you found within yourself that you discovered, did that lead you to pursue theatre as a profession?
Well, no, we never thought of at any stage in my life that theatre would become a profession.
Okay.
For me, it became a profession only in 1992.
Okay.
So that's a very long time off. I was educating myself, again, Narsee College, to be either a chartered accountant or
Okay.
a management person. In fact, I have done 2 years of my articleship also. So we were doing theatre in college. I did a lot of theatre in college. But it would be to the extent of being a hobby. It would be to the
Okay.
extent of another part of your expression. So there are two things I used to do: play cricket for my college and also do theatre. So that was, offered to us. Not like you guys have got too many things
Yeah.
in terms of choice. Our choices were very limited, but these two things were offered. I got more involved in theatre. I suppose one of the reasons was that I could work less hard and get more applause Then cricket. Cricket
Yeah.
was very competitive. There were some outstanding people playing cricket, and I was
Right.
always in the fringe. I wasn't normally in the 11, but I was there in the team. But I realized that theatre was far more
But it's
easier
an
to
honor.
do, and
Yeah.
so that's how the journey started in terms of making this more serious. So after leaving college just took many years. I have worked in corporate. I have handled public issues. So I was working to make my living and then doing theatre. And then I got very involved with the theatre, Prithvi Theatre particularly, after the death of Mrs. Jennifer Kapoor, who was Shashi Kapoor's wife, and she was the head. And she, in many ways, I consider her my mentor. And so after she passed away, I was very close to her, and I was very close to the working of the theatre because I worked with her to do the first Prithvi Theatre Festival. And so that's how our journey started in 83. So she passed away. So it was sort of, the family requested me to be there till other people can sort of come there. So that is how I got more involved in the actually running of the theater, while I started my journey as an actor. I wasn't a director, and it was here there I started wanted to do a play for the theater, and there was nobody who was ready to do it, and that's the time that I decided to direct a play because nobody else was directing a play, and that's from there my journey as a director started.
But had you been in cricket or chartered accountancy or anything as such, we wouldn't have had such an amazing personality
Of course.
in in theater.
Thank you. I'm not very sure, but I take your word for it. I
Yes,
may have
you
been
should
much more rich.
Okay, so you mentioned that it did take some time for you to discover theatre
Yes.
as a profession.
Yes.
What were some artists or early influences that shaped your creative journey or your way of storytelling?
Uh, I think in theatre there are three distinct influences that I have. I won't. Of course, there's been this director of mine in college, Mr. Mahendra Joshi, who had a huge influence in inculcating a certain amount of discipline and skill of how to do it. He had his own ways, but we didn't go to. We were formally educating to become accountants and managers. So he was your only reference to understand. So he was. But there is this great director from Manipur. His name is Ratan Thiam, and I saw his production called Chatrabhuj. You know the story of Chatrabhuj about Abhimanyu being caught in the Chakrabhyuh and not being able to come out. It's a Mahabharata, very famous story. And I saw that it was in Manipuri language. And I couldn't understand a word. But let me tell you, it was one of the most riveting theater experience of my life. I was just completely mesmerized by what was the possibilities of theater. So then I kept following his work. So his work has had a huge influence on me. Then there is this great theater director, world theater director, and his theories and his writings have influenced world theater to a very large extent, called Peter Brook. So when he was in India, we attended his workshop, and being with him for about 4 days was quite a transformative experience. Gave me a bit of a clarity about what a theater experience is all about. Then Mrs. Jennifer Kapoor, because she was herself a terrific actress, but she was just one of the most finest human being. And I realized with her is that if she could be a theater professional all her life and a family, there is something very beautiful and something very enriching about it. And so I, at one stage started contemplating that if I could just do theater and make my life, being a professional theater person, then I would. I know there would be a lot of sacrifices that you have to make, or rather, there will be a transaction that you know that you're not going to be very, very rich being in theater, but this can be compensated by something much more richer that you can get. So you may have a much more emotionally richer life, intellectually more richer
A
life
rich in a
being in
world.
theater.
Yeah.
So that's a time then. And a play happened in my life called Tumhari Amrita
Yes.
in
Yes.
1992. And that became a huge success. It was a massive success. And that's the time that I realized is that let me now completely uh, decide and announce that I'm going to be a professional theatre director. And that's the time that I also then quit being at the Prithvi Theatre because then I decided to hand over because then I was still there as an advisor. I still happened to be there informally, but formally I had to do that because then my play was traveling all over, and then when you do one,
Yeah.
then you need to do more.
Yeah.
We are
And
aware
then
it ran for 20 years.
Yes.
it was more than that. Yeah,
More than
yeah.
that,
So
wow.
then I did another one, which became a very huge success called Salgira. That was with Anupam Kher and his wife Kiran Kher. She actually came back to theatre with that, and then many others followed after that because then that's all that I was doing. So I created everything on my own. So I financed it myself. I produced it myself. I was a manager, everything because you can't afford a big team. So everything was being done by me. And that's how I then became a professional theatre director.
Wow. That's a really inspiring journey.
Yeah. And we realized that the early influences that you had, like the Manipuri play that you watched, and Peter Brook, of course, and Jennifer Kapoor. So, all of these influences, after which you finally did Tumhari Amrita, was that your first theatrical production or was
No, I had
something
done
else?
plays before that.
So, what was your first theatrical production and what
as,
role
as a
did you
director,
play?
there's a play called The
Yeah.
Royal Hunt of the Sun.
Okay.
Okay.
It's written by a playwright called Peter Schaeffer, and it was a very ambitious production. It was about the conquest of the Inca civilization by the Spaniards. It's a historical event, but based on that, he raises many important questions about how one civilization, or rather one idea of God, seems to be
Yeah.
superior than the other idea of God, and then through that and through imposing power through violence, how do you conquer and actually, in a way, decimate an entire civilization? And if you see today, most of South America is no more what it used to be because of the conquests that happened. And so it also dealt with a lot of beautiful characters and their journeys, and of course the larger idea that how a bunch of a few people could actually conquer such a huge civilization. And so it's a very beautiful play. So that was my first play as a director. Then I did an adaptation, a Gujarati musical called Eva Mumbai Machal Jaiye, which is a Gujarati adaptation of West Side Story.
Okay.
So I did that. Then came, of course, Tumhari Amrita, because these were very huge productions. And this was done actually as a tribute to Mrs. Jennifer Kapoor.
Okay.
We do have every on every 28th of February, we used to have a show, Unbroken, for almost, I think, 40 years, which Zakir
Wow.
Bhai, Zakir Hussain Saab, used to perform with a team on the birthday of Jennifer Kapoor.
Wow.
And it's rather quite poignant and in a way very sad that he won't be with us anymore. So this February, there will be no Zakir Bhai performing. For almost 40 years, Unbroken he used to perform. So one year, 92, we decided to pay a tribute to Jennifer with 3 performing arts. One was a dance by great Bharatanatyam dancer called Ananmar Wali. And then the other, I decided to pay my tribute with Tumhari Amrita. And this play was supposed to be, we had agreed and contracted only for 4 shows. That was
Okay.
it. We said, because we thought, who is going to come and watch 2 people sitting and reading letters? People go to sleep. And it did happen when we actually did our first technical rehearsal. There were 10 people and 8 of them actually went to sleep. And they were so bored out of their wits what's going on. And there's 2 people sitting and reading letters. Didn't work. And then thereafter, of course, it went on to become, a cult play. So that was the beginning of that. So I never knew the play will be successful. And so once it became very successful, so then thereafter, of course, decided. So, of course, this play I decided that I will be a professional theatre person.
In your creative journey, it's very inspiring to know that you've created so many emotional bonds with some wonderful people, Miss Jennifer and Mr. Farooq. And so I just feel that sometimes in your journey, all of them shape you a lot as an individual.
Yeah.
They leave fragments of memory and emotion within you. And it's kind of sad, but life goes on, and it's just happy to know that they had been a part of
Yes.
Oh,
our
no, no,
life.
no. You said something very
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
We are, a lot of who we are is also a lot
Yes.
of who other people were in your life.
Yeah.
It's very,
Yeah.
you become, and then when you encounter such great people. So to me, I have been in that sense really blessed to see some terrific actors and then terrific human beings. There are some who are both.
Yeah.
It's not necessary that a terrific actor can also be a great human being,
Yes, definitely.
but with them you inculcate a lot of their talent, a lot of their discipline, a lot of their skill, and you get a lot of insights into what you do. So I, in that sense, you are right, Jennifer Kapoor. There was another actor much before you all even know him called Shafi Inamdar, and Farooq Saab and me had a very, very strong relationship. We were very, very close. In fact, after he passed away, for years I couldn't even look at the script. I would just break down. It used to be, I couldn't go backstage even of my other plays. I used to just, because 22 years of our journey, we traveled the whole world and we were constantly in touch with each other all the time. And his passing away has left a deep hole. Many times you say that time heals, and sometimes I don't think it should heal, because their memories are alive in their
That's so
being
true.
alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
wonderful way to
healing
put it.
can also be a process of forgetting, but let it be the way it is. So he is very alive in my life. I don't feel, I don't want to heal. I just want to keep him with me all the time. He was a great influence, and I had the opportunity to work with a fabulous actress like Shabana Azmi.
Yeah.
I learned a lot from her. Then there was Nasiruddin Shah, who worked with me.
Yeah.
Then there was this outstanding actor called Satish Kaushik. He has done some, he's did a lot of comedy roles, but great actor. Then, of course, Anupam Kher. I did 2 plays with him. And so he, and one of the plays is own autobiography, which I wrote and directed. So there's a lot that I learned from him also. He's quite a extraordinary guy as a professional, and his life journey is also quite wonderful. Then Kiran Kher, she came in. Then Baman Irani. I've learned a lot from him.
They're
He's
spectacular.
quite a outstanding human being. Not just that he's a fabulous actor, but he's just a very, very fine human being. Is it the combination of two? There are very few like that, and he is. It's like seamless. His art, being an artist, and his being the human being, those two things are quite seamless with with Baman. Then I worked with a great actress called Seema Biswas. She's a terrific actress too, and then many others thereafter. So you are very, very right. It's a wonderful thing that you said, that you are a sum of a lot of other people who have had that great influence in your life.
So, as we spoke earlier during the introduction about Mughal-e-Azam,
Yeah, yeah.
and time and again you've mentioned Tumhari Amrita as well, which is truly a masterpiece. So, I wanted to ask you that from shifting to such an intimate storytelling of Tumhari Amrita, with 2 people reading the letters, to going to something so grand and opulent and Mughal-e-Azam with those costumes, those are 2 different sides of a spectrum, right? One is very minimalist, the other one is just grand, totally. So, what guides you in terms of direction to create such contrasting tones?
So there are 2 aspects to it. There's a very personal aspect, and the personal aspect is that you only grow when you take up a challenge bigger than your ability. If you're able to operate within your abilities, then you don't grow. You only get better at doing the same thing again and again. So now, when you've done a Tumhari Amrita, so one of the reasons that we used to do a lot of minimum production is the practical dimensions of doing theatre, because you don't have so much time to set up You don't
Yeah.
have so much time to spend there in the theater, because people give you theater on hourly basis. So within
Yeah.
that constrained time, you have to do all the lighting and sets and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. Surely your imagination starts getting adjusted to the possibilities and almost sometimes impossibilities of things that are. So most of your productions had to be minimum. But then I found a great power in minimalism also. I took that as a challenge. I said, how can, because theater has this great ability of the power of symbolism. So a very small thing can become so many things. A chair can be a throne, a chair can be a regular chair,
Yeah.
a chair can be so, because the imagination of the audience in theater is almost on fire. Okay, they see beyond the obvious. They see much beyond the obvious. There is a lot of metaphors they are able to absorb in theater. They are expecting you to give you not the entire replication of reality, but a suggestion of reality, so that you open up. So it's a small space. It's a
Yeah.
confined space, but the imagination is unlimited. So limited space, unlimited imagination. So what you do is that you create within the minimum a lot of interesting things with which you do. So Tumhari Amrita is one example. I've done other productions also. The sets and everything, very symbolic but very powerful in terms of
Yeah.
its messaging and in terms of its what it stands
Yeah.
for. Surely what happens is that you start getting very good of being in the minimal space, and so you, before you know, you may become your own cliche. So you may start getting so good in being able to do that, that you also come to a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so what you may turn around and say, look, I'm doing this minimal thing and so on and so forth, but somewhere what you're hiding is that you're being limited. So how do you challenge that? So you can't be somewhere in between. You need to go completely into
Yeah.
a space that you never been
Sometimes
to.
step out of
Your
our
So
comfort
so
zone.
so you take the path,
Yeah.
you take the journey, but you not necessarily decide the destination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you should be very, very clear that I want to go to this journey. I don't know where this is going to take me, because it may take me. It was famous poem that you had two roads. So you take the road less traveled, correct? And when you go to a road less traveled is where there is going to be growth, because it is only the obstacles and difficulties that stretch you to be creative.
Yes.
If you do not have obstacles, if you do not have challenges, if life is a bed of roses, then it's a sweet journey and it's a very boring journey. But when you are challenging yourself, so I said, let me go into a place. And then to take on a play, which it basically take on a film which is iconic.
Yeah.
And there's so many memories of people who are attached with those memories. I mean, the memories of people are so etched with Mughal-e-Azam,
Yeah.
and memories are very precious, and they are just something that when you fool around with it, it affects the people a lot.
Yeah.
That's why those are classics. People don't
Yeah.
want to touch the classics. In fact, Mughal-e-Azam in many ways gave the vocabulary of love to a lot of people.
Yeah.
How to express love, how to in many ways,
Like how Salim did to
yeah, Salim
Anarkali.
and Anarkali
Yeah.
and all those dialogue. They actually
Yeah.
got a vocabulary. They also got a place to experience something so beautiful, and people's memories were very strong. Now, and then, of course, their attachment to the characters, because when you look at Mughal-e-Azam, the film, immediately Akbar is Prithviraj Kapoor Sahab,
Yes.
Salim is Dilip Kumar, Madhubala. I'm just a close-up of Madhubala and you just die. She's so,
She's so
top beautiful. She's just so gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
So these are the people. Now you can't get them on stage. We can't
Yeah.
get them. They are gone. So how do you actually, take that? So the challenge that I had taken was, I think, I actually didn't even realize the kind of challenge that I was taking. I just wanted to do a musical. Okay. And the reason I also wanted to do a musical is how we used to go to London and to New York and watch West End theatre and watch Broadway theatre. And when you used to watch these great musicals, used to be completely, in awe and mesmerized. And a thought kept growing, and the thought kept disturbing me, saying that, why can't we do it? What is it that we lack? A musical needs great music. It needs a story that lends itself to great spectacle. It should be a story with great conflict. Okay, it should have
Right.
great
All the
dancing,
dynamics.
and it should have great script. And we have all of that. And that's how I said that, let me do something which we as Indians at least can hold our head high and say that we've done something which is of an international standard. So my ambition was to do something that was of an international standard and to do a kind of a production where I have never been there. I've never been in this area at all. I was just minimum and a little bit of minimum plus, but this is maximum plus.
Yeah.
So I said that the only way that I can grow is I have to flirt with failure, because a fall would be so big.
Yeah.
If Mughal-e-Azam had not worked, it would have been almost curtains to my career in many ways, or would have had a great setback to me
Okay.
if that hadn't worked, because it was the most expensive production that India had ever seen.
It was grand.
And
Yeah.
it was of a film which is iconic. So I was taking on a great panga, as you would call it.
Yeah.
And so it worked out well. So in hindsight, I can sit and give you a lot of gyan about it. But let me tell you, I have never been so insecure
Okay.
as an artist.
I think I have
by
something
doing-
to say for your journey. Safar खूबसूरत है मंजिल से भी. I think whatever I took away from your journey, I am also a firm believer that no matter where you reach, what you do in life, just going with the flow, enjoying what you do is truly the essence and truly what matters.
Yeah, I think that or you only, as I said, grow when you take on bigger challenges. If you are
Get out of your
sorry, if you
comfort
are,
zone.
as I always believe that a comfort zone, is a dead zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should never be comfortable. You should be always very excited
Yeah.
to keep doing things and not sit on your laurels, what you have done, and then think I have achieved it. We are, all of us are work in progress till we die.
Yeah. Now shifting the focus more to the audience. In an ever-changing media landscape, how do you generate new ideas or choose your stories?
I think you are the first audience. So when you want to do a play, you are looking at how does it affect me. And if you're somebody who is in the presence, in the sense who is present in life, who is not nostalgic about life, and who is not overtly into futuristic ideas, but who's present in life and everything that is happening to that person, social, political, personal, psychological. So if you're in life, then certainly there are things that will affect you personally. And then there are some things that will come to you as a script or as an idea. And you feel that the time for this idea or script needs to be done.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of a play called Salgira. This is a play about husband and wife celebrating 10th anniversary of their
Was
marriage.
it the one with Anupam Kher?
Anupam Kher
Yeah.
and Kiran Kher. This is where Kiran Kher
Yeah.
got back to acting. So this is a play where it play opens that husband and wife is celebrating 10 years of their marriage. And then you realize that this is the last day of their marriage. But this is a more positive play in which they realize the importance of each one of them only when they're separated. So that when you take a subject, you also give hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in the end, hope is our only hope.
Yeah.
We have to believe.
Hope is our only hope. I think that's a wonderful way to put it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, you talked about that how if you didn't do Mughal-e-Azam, it would have been a really major setback for you. But now that it's not the truth, in fact, it's critically acclaimed. It has won 7 out of the 14 Broadway Film Festival Awards with the Best Director, Best Play, Best Costume Design. So now that we understood that this is your contrasting tones that you use in your direction style, I want to understand that what truly guides you in envisioning and executing a creative idea.
Yeah, so now I think it would be good for us to sort of dwell on a bit of the craft part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how
execution.
do you sort of execute something like this? Now with something like Mughal-e-Azam, it's a highly technical production because it's a combination of technology and it's got sets, huge, some 250 lights and so on. So many things that are happening technically. One of the things that one have to understand is that everything that you do should be in the service of the play. It should be in the service of the play. You can't do things to say, I will give you a demonstration of lighting or demonstration of the set.
Yeah.
You said great lighting. They don't. They enhance the play. They should be supporting the storytelling. They should not be the story. So it's very important that when you take a story, you must be very aware that I want to tell the story in the best possible way. And there are stories which are said in a certain way. So you have a minimalistic way of doing that. Like a Tumhari Amrita couldn't be done but anyway, but being minimum.
Yeah.
A Mughal
Yeah.
Azam cannot be done but
Without
being,
Grand.
yes,
Grand.
grand.
Yeah.
A play like I'm doing in the 1957, I had to create a set, which is not a grand set, but it is grand in the sense that it is
Authentic.
evoking
Yeah.
the whole era and also evoking that particular socio-cultural area
Background, yeah, you
background
want to
of,
create. Yeah.
of the people. Now without that set, the play really won't work. So you do that. So when you take anything, particularly when you take a play, now we're talking about a play, just make sure that the form does not dominate. It can be very hollow. If you think that I can mesmerize the audience with the lighting effects and this effect and special effect, you'll get tired of that.
Yeah.
But eventually what works is the storytelling, which means that you are very, very, you're trying to find the truth in that story through the performances, through the way each scene goes into the other one. Okay. So at the heart of a live experience are the live human beings. So the acting part, the story part, the writing part, and all that should be very important. The writing is extremely important. The script should be really, really something that you must master it. Because if you don't master that, that is your architectural blueprint in many ways, right? It is a script that is telling us there. The writers are actually the creators. Rest of us are only taking that forward to the audience, right? And the others are vehicles. But the first is the great script that you have. So you should spend a lot of time understanding the craft, understanding what the story is, and how best I'm able to communicate through the actors. So I'm talking more in a conventional way. Of course, now we come into technology, AI, so on and so forth. That's a different world. I'm not going to talk about it. But if we're talking about, let's say, Mughal Azam, Mughal Azam works not just because it is very grand, because also fabulously written
Yes,
and
definitely.
fabulously performed. So those things should all be in proper proportion.
Yes.
I think that's what sets you apart as a director, that you understand that storytelling is the very crux of any kind of drama or theater.
Yeah,
that
people
we
have come
do.
to experience a story.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what are we doing by telling stories? We're giving a new insights, or new ideas, because all of us in our life are asking one simple question: what is the meaning of life?
Yeah.
So to search for the meaning of life, you're going to many places. So you
Deep
go to
philosophy.
religion, you go to this. Art is also a great place.
Yes.
Okay, so when you
Definitely.
watch a great play, it gives you a certain insight of life. It elevates your life. It reassures you of certain things. It makes you think. It enriches you. You are a different person after you've experienced great art. And that is why we are on both the sides, performer and the audience, are trying to engage each other in trying to find a purpose and life and an insight that we have found in life. That insight we are sharing with each other.
Yes, definitely. You spoke about Hind 1957 as well, which has been adapted from Fences. How do you Indianize these characters?
Well, I think it's not just this. I've done many. Tumhari Amrita as
Yes.
adaptation.
Yeah.
Then one of the
Even Salesman Ramlal.
one of my most actually it's my favorite play called Salesman Ramlal. Yeah, and that is from Death of a Salesman.
Okay,
Now,
yeah.
what you do is that the adaptation is a very complex job.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not all plays can be adapted. The first thing you have to understand,
Okay.
because some plays are so seeped in the social, cultural, political milieu that you cannot take that out. It's that soil in which
The context.
that particular plant has been, has been placed. Now you can't just take a plant and say from here and I'll put in some other soil. It doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
But there are some plays which actually can. So what you need to do is you need to be very respectful to the original in many ways, and thereafter you take off from there, and you say, "This is the theme, this is the story, okay, and these are the characters." So mostly theme is very important. If thematically it has got a universal idea, then you are able to take to different cultures.
Yeah.
Because there are two ideas in psychology. One is what's called the Jungian idea,
Okay.
which is the collective unconscious, and the other is a Freudian idea, which is a lot about the personal biographies of people. So the Jungian idea is basically, the collective dreams, collective traumas, collective, stories that is shared by all humanity. The same way, there are themes which are shared by all humanity. So when you take those ideas from there, and then you then take all the characters that are here, you then root them into that social milieu and political condition in which you want to do the play. And I have had a great time doing that. I've done many of the adaptations because I've loved some of them, and they have worked very beautifully. I mean, with Salesman Ramlal, at the heart is a story of a man who, with the coming up of new technology, is finding himself redundant. And this man, who's been a salesman all his life, is realizing that his job is now no more important and relevant. So it's not just that you lose a job, you lose dignity.
Yeah.
You lose the purpose. You even question your existence everywhere. So this whole idea of how do you reconcile with the Darwinian idea of survival of the fittest, okay, and then how do the society protect the weakest?
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Now, this is a universal idea. So that's what I picked up from there, and then rooted all the characters within our soil.
Wow.
Yeah,
With
so it's just
the-
theme that I took from there.
I think with the authenticity and realism that you have built all your characters and the storylines that you have adapted, I also want to talk about Gandhi My Father, which is another very authentic, heartfelt 2007 film. And there was Akshay Khanna as the leading actor. So I vividly remember this one scene, and it was so memorable, wherein so Harilal finds out that his father has died, and that's when there were no words. There were just raw emotions. There were just those facial expressions of disappointment with life and in general. I mean, those unspoken moments of emotion and expression truly created something so emotionally heavy that it makes me think that what does it take, as we know that you are a screenwriter and a playwright, what does it take for you to make such emotionally complex characters, and what really goes behind the creative process of creating such complex characters with so much emotional depth in them?
Yeah. Now, you referred to a particular scene, and I must tell you about that. And that scene is basically Harilal is silent; he doesn't speak a word.
Yeah.
Now, of course, I've been very lucky with Gandhi, My Father, is that that there was a play which I had done called Mahatma versus Gandhi. But then one of the first thing I did is that I took the play out of the picture. I did a lot of research. I do a lot of research, particularly when you're doing a historical piece, because a lot of historical that we do are hysterical. They are not historical. Yeah. So they mistake
rhyme.
hysteria. So history just seems to be
Yeah.
a passing thing for them.
Yeah.
But for me, history is very important. For me, what you create in historical terms on the screen and on the stage are going to remain there for all times to come. So I don't want anybody who is experiencing this to believe I have taken historical liberties. Now, it's fine that you may want to take liberties, because as it is, when you are taking a life of people of 70 years of their life and in sort of encapsulating them and compressing them in 2 hours or 2 hours 30 minutes, you are being selective in any way.
Yeah.
But being selective is one thing, but distorting history in the name of saying that I'm taking historical or creating parallel
In the
narratives
name of creative liberty.
or creating a completely opposite narrative,
Yeah.
to what historical it was. And I just use history as a costume drama or as a set backdrop. And the way it is performed and the way it's done, and most of the historical that I've seen are truly hysterical. I mean, historical that you die laughing sometimes and they're shouting and yelling most of the time. That's not we need to do. We need to be very aware of that. And I had two terrific experiences with this film is because one of the problem was that this was a subject which the world had not known much. This is a relationship, is a failed relationship of a father of a nation, with his son. And when I was doing research on there was a biography written on Harilal. Okay, and it's so instructive that that particular biography was printed by a Gandhian press, a critical of Gandhi, written by a man called Chandulal Dalal, who has written what is called a Deenwani of Gandhiji. It means from the first day that he was born to every day, he missed out a few things. So he was that kind of a person. And within his research, he found these aspects of Harilal and his relationship with his father. So it was very, So I remember the introduction to that book written by somebody, I forget the name. And there was a very lovely sentence in that. It was in Gujarati, which says that માટીમાંથી માણસ બનાવનારા મહાત્માનો પોતાનો દીકરો માણસમાંથી માટી કેવી રીતે બની ગયો. इट मीन्स के मिट्टी में से इंसान बनाने वाले महात्मा गांधी का खुद का बेटा इंसान से मिट्टी कैसे बन गया. और टू ट्रांसलेट इन इंग्लिश दैट somebody from dust could create a human being, and why is it that his own son from this became went to dust. How did this really happen? A very painful relationship. Now what happens is that when you're trying to project in a cinematic terms a story like this, you're always told to do what is called a protagonist and an antagonist, right? And then you want to be on the side of this. Now here there was constantly shifting antagonist and protagonist, because that's the truth. That sometime one was against the other was against one another. So it was not, to me, a failure of Mahatma, it was failure of a father. And Harilal also always acknowledged that. And this is a clash between the aspirations of children and the principles and compulsions of parents. Now, all relationships are not about I am right or I am wrong. Many of the relationships could also be both are right and both are wrong. So when both are right and both are wrong, how do we do? But dramatic stories don't allow that space. They want hero gaya, so Harilal can be a hero and Mahatma Gandhi could have been a villain. So I was suggested by a lot of writers and all that. They told me, what is this you're doing? We don't know. Who do we root for? The thing is that history is not that simple. So I may actually be what is called grammatically correct in terms of the writing grammar, but I would be historically cruel. I would have done great damage to history and to this beautiful relationship. So all these father-son relationship or parents-son is not as simple. It's not a binary. They are very complex.
At the end of the day, both parties are human beings.
And both could be right
First
at the
time
same
at
time.
life.
And both could be wrong. And they are very compelling in their arguments, right? So not taking sides and yet allowing that argument. And then right in the center, to me, is a mother who loves the son, and then at the same time is a devoted wife. And how she managing. In fact, to me, she is the protagonist. It's through her eyes that I see all that is happening. So I was in a great dilemma making this film, because I did not want that this to damage Mahatma Gandhi. But at the same time, I did not want that the truth should not be spoken. So it was a very difficult thing. So I remember the first day of the shoot when I was going to, that was the first day in Ahmedabad I was shooting. And I passed through the Gandhi ashram. And I don't know what occurred to me that I want to go before I start the film. For some reason, I thought, let me go and go to the Gandhi ashram.
A great mantra.
So I went to Sabarmati ashram, and there is his room. It's called Hriday Kunj. Now, that is normally when you'll go as a tourist or as a visitor, you're not allowed to go in. It's closed. So from outside, you watch. But it was very early mornings. The janitor was there. He was cleaning up, and he saw me, and he told me, do you want to go and sit in the room? I said, I mean, that's incredible. I sat there and I started weeping. And I said only one thing, that, Bapu, give me the strength to speak the truth, but not harm you in many ways. Because doing damage to Gandhi doing damage to Gandhi is doing a huge damage to humanity.
Yeah.
You don't get many Gandhis in the world.
Yeah.
So I was very cognizant of that. And that was my strength that I got. Now, you have picked up a very important scene in many ways, and I'm so grateful to you, and I'm very delighted that not many pick up that scene. One of the scene they normally pick up is when he takes an orange. There's a train that's coming into a Katni station, and Harilal has got an orange, and everybody's shouting Mahatma Gandhi ki jai, Mahatma Gandhi ki jai. One man, completely disheveled condition, and like a beggar, he has got one orange, and he shouts Mata Kasturba ki jai, Mata Kasturba ki jai, and everybody goes quiet, and then he goes and gives the orange to the mother, and he says, and he's poor. He says, I asked somebody, I want to give it to my mother. He didn't take money from me, and then Gandhi asked him, Beta, what did you get for me? He says, nothing. He says, you got everything. I've only got it for my mother, not you. And then he gives this thing, and the train starts, and everybody's shouting, Mahatma, and one solitary voice saying, Mata Kasturba ki jai, Mata. And this is verbatim, this is exactly how it had happened. But this scene that you're talking about, this is documented.
Yeah.
So, you would know that. But when it comes to a scene that Mahatma Gandhi has been assassinated. Now he's sitting in a tea shop, and on the radio, the message has been splashed, and Nehru is speaking, and so he goes to the guy who's at the counter, the owner of the tea shop. He's telling everybody, and he's crying, and he's saying, "Hey, please leave. My Bapu is dead. My father, I have lost my father." Now, what happened? Because I was talking to a lot of people, even elderly people, elder than Gandhi, that death of Mahatma Gandhi meant a death of their own father, because he was not just a father figure, but he was a symbolic father to even elderlies, because that is what Gandhi meant to the people of this country. So he says, I have lost. And there is Harilal, who has lost his father.
Actually lost his
How
father.
can he tell him? How does he process this? So he's just looking at him, and he wants to give him the money for tea, but he says, no, I don't want any money. I've just lost my. So I think that seemed to me, I have imagined that. But I have imagined it within the context of what research I did. Because I've come from the point of view that there was a great journalist. He was a very senior journalist called Mr. M.B. Kamath. And he and me used to have a lot of conversation, and he was a reporter at that time. And I asked him, how was it on that day? And he says, I felt that I lost my father. And the whole country felt. So I took it from the point of view of the tea shop owner, that how he's feeling, that he's lost, And so this is one film in which my guiding principles were the guiding principles of Gandhi. A, simplicity. Even the way I shot the film, I did not make it into a fancy camera work. It was capturing the truth as it was, in its complete simplicity, aesthetics, and truth, and nothing more than that. Nothing more than that. So I followed the Gandhian principles in my aesthetics of making aesthetics, and the visual aesthetics, emotional aesthetics, everything was guided by the Gandhian idea, because it was a failed relationship. It was not a failed Mahatma. So that was very important for me.
I think the passion with which you speak about Gandhi, my father, I think it's so inspiring. The way you are so passionate about the art that you create. Not many have that. I mean,
No, I'm very passionate about
Yeah.
Mahatma Gandhi, because I was not that well informed on him till I actually started, and I did a lot of research, and I found myself, because there's one of the things that every work that you do must transform you. So it's not just the people who leave parts of them on you. It's that all the work that you do must also leave a lot of impression on you. You should be a changed person, not only that the audience is affected by your work, you yourself have to be very affected, because in the end, you are also the art that you do. So if you are not affected by your own work, then perhaps you're doing a little lesser work. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, portraying history in and out in a matter of fact way, it's not so easy to do. And sometimes, due to creative liberty, some people go off track. But
Yeah.
I think Gandhi My Father was not like that at all. The authenticity, I think it truly evoked emotions for
In
the
the audience,
audiences.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think talking about the visual and performing arts, I think you also had a tour of CNS, and you came across all the creative spaces that
Yeah.
we've built, the amphitheater, we have the multipurpose hall, and the auditorium, and of course the podcast room. So I wanted to know from you that what's the scope right now for integrating theater and, in general, performative arts in education?
Well, whatever I saw has usually affected me, honestly. I'm very inspired with the kind of spaces that you have, the kind of facilities that you have, and the kind of people who are there wanting to do this.
Yeah.
I don't find this a lot in many places. The passion with which, and I think a lot of credit would go to your principal and the teachers who
Yeah.
are there. They're so passionate about wanting to share the stories in a theatrical sort of format. So the nurturing atmosphere that you have here, I am only looking at it and getting very affected that in a way believing that wish we had something like that. We never had that in school, of course not, and the other places also we didn't have the choice to actually study it properly.
Yeah.
We learned on the job. We were like small children put into the deep end of the pool and start sort of surviving.
Yeah.
That's how we learn. So, but to see the kind of facilities that you've got, it's very inspiring. And theater, at one stage, one one of the things that people who come to do either theater or film, they come for the result. A lot of reasons. One of the things is that I'll become very famous. The thing is that I'm able to do drama and I'm able to do all that. There's a lot about what I will get out of it, has how the world will look at me. But I think a lot about theater is that how I evolve as a person, being, that you are encountering such great stories.
Yeah.
So you are actually experiencing life in great depth.
Yes.
Okay, you are deepening your emotional, and you are deepening, not only deepening, you're expanding your horizon in terms of your thinking. So you think big and you feel deep. A lot of that happens when you're doing theater. So if you're looking at great stories, or even, and it's not that I'm saying in a very serious way, it can happen even in a comedy. It does not have to be every time doing very serious plays. As you talked about, Noise is Off.
Yes.
So Noise is Off is a great play because it also tells you a lot that happens backstage.
Yes.
So there are kind of two stories that are going on. And the great thing about theater is that unlike, I mean, I've done film also, the film can handle one or two themes basically, but theater can handle a lot. And recently I did a play called Letters of Suresh. Now that's one of the plays that is very minimum, very, very minimum to its bone. And it's a series of monologues. But through them, the kind of thematic exploration that I was able to do, I don't think so I can do that in any other medium. Because with theater, you can do a lot more, or you can say a lot of things with very minimum resources. In cinema, you can actually spend a lot of money, a lot of resources, and not say something of any value as
Yeah, I
such.
think theater is a medium that truly comes alive to the audience.
Yeah.
Because it is a
definitely.
live experience, okay? And you as actors, within that space and within that limited time, you have no other choice but to survive there. There's no retakes, there's nothing. And the kind of material, you have to understand one thing, that you have got 5,000 years of writing in theater.
Yeah.
So the quality of work that you have, the quality of writing that's available in theater is far, far richer than cinema has.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, Because cinema has got its own greatness and also its limitations.
Yes.
But theater is that, you really don't need much to a theater. I mean, you can have one thing like a Mughal-e-Azam,
Yeah.
but you have something, as I said, Tumhari Amrita, or I did with
Yes.
Yeah.
it is a Suresh. You just need a few tables and chairs.
Yeah.
But you need a great script, a great
Yes,
story in the
definitely.
script, which is a great play, and you need some really fine actors.
Yes.
Because theater at the end is an actor's medium.
Yeah.
And that is why to create theater, you don't need anything. And yet you can create a whole lot of things with that. Just you, few actors. You can the possibilities in theater are in many ways quite limitless, and the available material and the things that you can do is so much. As a part of personality development, I think it's one of the very powerful tools, because there is a lot of therapy that happens when a lot of people don't even realize it. So because they are dealing with themes with they are encountering something which are connecting in their lives. So when they do the play, or like anytime when you watch a play and you identify with a lot of things and you see, and it gives you new insight to it. So in the same way that for personality development, theater has been used a lot in psychotherapy also.
Okay,
In fact, there's
yeah.
a whole school of psychotherapy that uses theater as a medium. In fact, originally when there's a word called catharsis, and which was used in the Greek theater. They say catharsis is that when you cry a lot and when you go through a lot of strong emotion, you are purged of a lot
Yeah.
of emotions. So theater has always been a great therapy for society. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You-
arts in any kind is therapeutic.
Yeah.
Yeah, very therapeutic. It
You
does
also
that.
mentioned Noises Off, which is a play that we had done for our annual production.
Yeah.
And that gave us an insight into what happens backstage, And
So I was in the set and props.
yeah,
she
and
was
I was an actor. So,
Yeah.
we were discussing as well, the insights that that play gave us was incredible. And I would just like to ask you, what are the career paths in theater beyond acting and directing? Because that's something we would
That's
like
a
to explore.
difficult question. The career and theater
Yeah.
is a very difficult question. Honestly, not many have been able to make. So they do other things. So the time that when I was working, the only option you had was cinema, and then television came in. I only did theater, of course, and I dabbled in a few films, but the career-wise, it's difficult. Now there is Marathi theater, which is a regular kind of a theater that people do, and they make kind of a living also from there. Same people do with Gujarati theater, but it's not enough. If either you're an actor or a director or any other things that you're doing, you will have to supplement it by doing other things. The
Yeah.
good part now is that you have the opportunity to do that. So theater can become your central interest, and theater can become a place where you keep growing. It can also be a great place for riyaz. But it becoming totally a career, it's really slightly difficult, I would say. So you have theater as an entry with which you can do so many other things. Today you can be in OTT, you can be in television, you could be doing, small short films. There's a lot of opportunity
Yeah.
that once you get into theater, learn, because theater does become a learning place. Because look, not everybody is very privileged to go to very expensive schools to learn. So a lot of them actually learn as apprentice, or they learn on the job. And then theater does, provide you with perhaps that kind of a platform if you're very good,
Yeah.
because you can immediately understand whether you're good or not in theater. Immediately you will be able to get a sense of whether you have the dramatic instinct, you have the imagination, do you have the emotional kind of reservoir to be able to be an actor. So once you have got that, then you get yourself trained a lot. So you look at it like more as a training place. A full-fledged career now, just being a theater actor or a director, you can, but then it means that your threshold of your wants and desires have to be also of that kind. You can't be thinking of having a lot of luxurious things in your life or a luxurious lifestyle. You would have a threshold. I can only get this much. And so you will have to negotiate what your threshold is going to be.
So, what would be like 3 mantras you would give to young students or people who want to pursue theatre?
Well, I don't think so. I'm come to a stage where I can give only
Any advice that you would like to give?
mantras. No, no. I think this is one thing that I try and avoid is give any advice, because what advice can I give anybody? I can only be in many ways passionately talking about theatre because I've got so much from theatre. So I would say, please, if you want to pursue theatre, and if you have the talent, because there's one thing you must discover, is ask yourself the first fundamental question: why I want to be in theatre.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't answer that question, then you may be in theatre for the wrong reasons. Okay, if you're there for the wrong reason, because one of the reason that is very natural is to draw attention, to get attention, to get bit of fame and be
Yeah.
famous. Okay, the other is being rich. Okay, the third is that it's a play. We call it a play, which means it's a great place to have fun. All right. Yeah, we call it a
Yeah.
play. So
Yeah.
the way a good play is
It's like a
constructed
playground.
has to be like your best play
Yeah.
is example of that is Noises Off, that you're having
Yeah.
fun.
Definitely.
So a
Running
play,
here and
if you
there.
don't have fun
Yeah.
doing it, well, now fun doing it doesn't mean that in the comedy sense, but I'm just saying that you are enjoying the fact
Yes.
that
Yeah.
you are in fictional circumstances, and within those fictional circumstances, you're playing those fictional characters. So you're hiding behind them, and then experiencing a lot of life that you would in real life won't be able to do.
Yeah.
So all that would be terrific. But your first question that you have to ask yourself is that why I'm in theatre.
Right.
One of the things that please understand that unlike different mediums, like in cinema, if you're an actor, you may not need the same kind of rigor and discipline that you have in theatre. So if you are not ready to do hard work, if you feel that you can fix acting or directing in theatre, then you're making a mistake. Theatre will ask sacrifices from you. It's a sacrificial act. It's not an something like a film that you keep, forgetting lines and you again retakes, and you can come in. I'll only come 5 minutes before the shot, or it doesn't work like that. In theatre, it's a rigorous, training, a lot of hard work that goes into it to come to realize that it's very, very important. Then the passion, which is there, of course, I would
Yes.
believe. Then the commitment to do that.
Yeah.
And then again, as I said, is that what is my threshold? And then I have in many ways, this is a kind of a conversation that you have with your own self, that look, the kind of happiness that I get here, because in the end, all of us are searching happiness. All of us are searching peace. All of us are searching beauty. That is what we're doing. Now, the kind of happiness that I'll get to be an actor or a director would far surpass me being something else. So, one of the things is in today's time, I would urge that you don't look at it only confining yourself to theatre. Do expand yourself in other mediums too. Just not about money or fame, but also stretching yourself.
So actually, I think that the language of theater is minimalism, maximalism, and also everything in between. Like it's a beautiful spectrum that theater provides you. But of course, these days with the opportunities and resources that we have, the mediums that we can present ourselves on have, of course, increased, have
Yes.
diversified.
Yes.
But in that. In those lines, I hope we don't lose the true essence of theatre.
No, you
still,
don't need. See, the
because-
thing is that
Yeah.
you don't need to be completely thrown away with that. I'm just saying that you, at the heart of it, theater is who you are. Your maybe self-actualization is being a theater director, actor, a designer, or whatever it is. That is fine, but that should always remain. But the life is about evolution. Correct. So when theater was there, other mediums weren't there.
Yeah.
So when the other mediums have come in, I think everybody has to evolve. So in the process of evolution, let us not become dogmatic. Like, for example, today you have classical forms like Bharatnatyam,
Yes.
Kathak, so on and so forth. But look at the experimentation that they're doing,
Yeah.
Hmm.
with
The fusion
that, which
with
is very
Fusion,
Western
yes,
styles.
fascinating
Yeah.
definitely.
within and with others. Same thing with music, right? So you don't lose the essence of who you are. So you don't lose the essence of being a Bharatnatyam dancer, Kathak dancer. But now that you are also interacting with the other forms, you only expand. So I think in evolutionary terms, I would believe that now that you have so many things, yes, you always be that highly committed or a highly passionate theatre person, but the other mediums should also be explored.
Definitely.
With I would like to wrap up by asking one last question, which is, what are we looking forward to? What are the next projects that we can look forward to from your side that are there in the pipeline?
In fact, I have never been so active working as I've been in the last few years. There has been one very important work that I have done. It's called Civilization to Nation. This is the show that opened up the NMACC, and it's a journey from Om to the Constitution of India, and how uh, our journey as a civilization has instructed us to become the political entity that we are now as a nation, as a republic. And through that journey of almost 2,500 years and more, we take you through some of our fascinating dances, music, pieces of Mahabharata, Ramayana. So it's a whole journey.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is a whole journey that from the first, in many ways, uncreated sound called Om, and how that civilization then moves from there and then absorbs so many influences, and yet it remains very strong in its center.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about an Indian civilization, that it is not scared about anything else. In fact, it believes that every other expression of reality is also a part of a bigger reality.
Yeah.
So it doesn't believe that my reality is the only reality that is there. And that's why this Indian civilization, Indian thought is so rich. So within that, it has absorbed from Hinduism, it has absorbed Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, Christianity, Islam, Sufi, the Bhakti movement, the whole lot of experience. And with that experience of diversity and respect for every other idea, and through
Yeah.
that, we then became a nation and created a constitution which actually instructs all these ideas. So this is a show called Civilization to Nation, and which I'm very proud of, and one of my most favorite piece of work. It is now going to the Lincoln Center
Okay,
to
wow.
perform
We look
in
forward to
September.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
definitely
So we
look
will,
forward to that.
I think, then also getting it here
Okay.
to Bombay, and when it comes, I would really urge you all to come and watch.
Definitely.
And then there are many other plays that I have in the pipeline. So I'm looking at sort of spacing those out, and I'm really looking forward to doing them. Yeah.
We are really looking forward to seeing those plays as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also, after this podcast, is very excited of engaging with students, which I haven't really done much. I mean, I must confess that I'm here because of your principal and because of Ravi,
Yeah.
because he works with me, and I like him very much as an actor, and so I normally don't actually go out much. In that sense, I'm more not introvert, but I am not very sort of social in that sense. But I think after coming here to this school and meeting all of you all, uh, I feel very humbled.
Maybe you should do a
I'm very
little
humbled.
more of that.
No, I'm very humbled,
Yeah.
and I feel that if I interact a lot with you all, my journey of growth will continue. And so it's only when you meet the next generation is when you grow. If I meet the last generation, I may not grow much. So I'm very, I'm very thankful that that you all have called me for this, and all the questioning and that you all have done. Very incisive. You all have done a lot of your homework, and so I am taking a bit of all of you all in my life.
For sure.
Yes. You can start with that.
So That sounded incredibly interesting. The entire podcast was not just about you as an individual and not just about theater as an art form, but also about the way the emotions evoke in audiences as well as in a director, in an actor when they portray or they carve a particular scene. I think we really would look forward to the new plays
Yes.
that we have in the pipeline and maybe talk to the principal a little about this one.
Yes,
And
definitely.
yeah,
And I believe it's conversations like these that
Yeah.
really show us that arts like theater really matter. It could be performing or visual arts, not just in shaping us as individuals, but exploration. And I would just like to thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us
very much.
today.
I'm very grateful.
It's
to,
been an
so we call
absolute
ourselves
pleasure.
Gen Zs.
Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So
It's been an
great. Thank you
absolute
very much
pleasure,
for
sir.
having me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
So this is Ashanvi
And this is Anika,
signing off from the CNS Dialogue Den.
where your voice matters.